Hello and welcome to the second chapter of asset management. In the previous chapter, we spoke about how we can manage the assets, how we can bring assets to a project. And in this particular chapter, we're going to talk about how effectively you can control the way assets work within your project. By assets, I mean any kind of media or footage that you have inside your project. Now, to remind you, this particular media that I'm talking about is lying in my secondary hard drive, and my secondary hard drive has all these files. Now, one thing that you should know about is that these files are connected by something called as a pointer to your Premiere Pro project. The Premiere Pro is not changing anything of the source file. It is just connected to your source file through a pointer, through a link. When you play back any video here, it is playing back straight from your media, which is lying here. All right. Now, if the location of the media changes in your hard drive, Premiere Pro would start looking for it or ask you, where did the media go? Let me illustrate this particular point. If you change any of the file names on your source folder, for example, if I change the name of this particular clip and I just add an X at the end of the file name, the moment you go back to Premiere Pro, it will not be able to find that file and it will flag off and tell you, okay, this media is missing. Can you help us find this clip again? I know that I changed the name of this particular clip. I can always click on locate. Locate button is right here. And the other options are always to help you find the exact footage. You can decide to not use the media browser. If you switch this off, it will open up the typical Finder. Now I'm working on a Mac, so this would typically find opening up the Finder for me. If you're working in Windows, it will open up the Windows Explorer. Ideally, switch this option on because the browser that Adobe provides you is much better. It gives you a thumbnail. It has got more option than the typical File Explorer or Finder in Mac. So if I click on locate here, it will open up my browser window, and I know because I added myself the letter X. So this is the file that Premiere Pro is looking for, and it will click OK, and everything will be fine. You'll get your clip back. Now, there's an interesting way how this works. If, for example, you create a folder here, this is only for illustration purpose. I'm calling it hide, and I hide any of the particular files here. All right. So if I drag a clip here, now if you understand, Premiere knows that all the files are inside this particular folder. These are all the files. Any place that is inside your root folder, if I consider this to be a root folder, it will be able to find this file by itself. It will not flag a message. Let me illustrate by going back to Premiere Pro. See, it was able to find a file by itself because the folder was lying deeper inside the source file. What if I move this hide folder above the root folder? There you go. So any kind of changes you make in terms of the location of the file down below, it is okay. The moment you bring the file above the root folder, it will not be able to find the file. So I have to just click locate again. But now I'm not looking it for here, I'm looking it for the hide folder here. I'll click on the file, click on OK, and we are back online. So one thing that is very clear from this illustration is that please be very careful where you have stored your files. Let Premiere Pro know that the files are connected to the correct location. The second important thing is that if you have accidentally moved your files and your folders, then you can always relocate them by using the link folder. Okay. The another way is that suppose I want to delete a file from here. I don't want this clip to be here at all. It is a shot I'm never going to use. The one way is that I can delete it from here. That's one way. I can press Ctrl Z to get it back. The another way is you can choose something called make offline. When you choose this, it tells you, do you want the files to remain on disk? Of course, I don't want this file to delete it completely from my disk. So I will click on that option and I'll click OK. The file will be gone. And you will see that it will be replaced by question mark, where it will say that this file is in the project folder, but it is no longer linked. So we are just talking about unlinking and linking files. If I want to link it again, I'll click on link media. I'll click on locate, and this time I can click on display exact name matches. It will show you the exact file name. I'll select that. I'll click OK. That's another way. Always remember, if you change the file name here, now each clip has got a particular file name. If I change the file name here and I call it shot02, for example, it has no effect whatsoever to your source file. The source files names do not get changed if you change the name of the files here. This is only for an illustration purpose for you to really understand. If you want to make life easier and you want to rename your shots, you can feel free to do it here, but please remember, it has got no effect whatsoever with your source file. Alright, so that's all for this particular chapter. We are going to complete a new chapter in the next lesson, and the next lesson will introduce you to a 3-point edit. Thank you so much.